Welcome to the Best in You podcast hosted by Aslam Khatri, entrepreneur and author of A Matter of Destiny, Passion, or Wish. Join Aslam as he teaches you about self-empowerment through the experiences in his life's journey. Tune in if you're ready to empower yourself and change your life. Let's get into it.
Welcome to my podcast. Today we're here to talk about your passion, your resilience, and your purpose into your life that you were meant to live. Life itself is just not some random stories put together. It is something that we want to make it for ourselves. It's what we want our life to be. How do we make our own destiny? How do we make our own destination, if you want to call it? And how do we go to a place that satisfies us as a human being? So if you're stuck in some kind of a day-to-day situation, or if you're looking for some kind of inspiration, I think this is the right place you have come. There's a big difference between passion, purpose, and goal. So we'll discuss that going forward as to see what is the difference between a goal itself and what is your own purpose. So what is purpose? Purpose as defined is basically your reason of being, which is much deeper. Why behind your actions and existence. You see, I discovered my own passion. I discovered my own purpose one morning when I had an appointment and I had to go see somebody. But I did not know at that point, I was very young. I had two very young children. And I had to take them. I didn't know where to take them because they could not be looked after that particular day. So I took them to a center which I didn't know, where they did not know, but I took them there to make sure that I go go meet my appointment. And that's when I realized that was my aha moment. That's when I knew what my purpose was. My goal was to become as high as I can go in my business. But this is when I realized, yes, those were my goals, but my purpose was to be with my children, to be with my family. The purpose was to look after my family. And that particular day, I felt that I failed myself. I failed myself to do that because I lived in a certain fear. And the fear was that what happens if I don't keep the appointment in the morning? I could have picked up the phone. I could have changed the appointment, but I didn't. Always having that fear, the fear that I lived when I came to this country, the fear of not having any money to buy anything or to do anything. So I turned around and I lived in that fear. And because of that fear, I had to leave my children at a place that I did not know. Even though I came back after my meeting very quickly, and even though I came back to retrieve the children, but this is when I realized, what is your purpose in the life? What are you trying to do? You see, when we find our purpose, so what are we going to leave behind in our life? This is when we start realizing that yes, goals are very important. Goals are extremely important, but the goals are short term. They come and they go. I want to write a book. I wrote a book. That was a goal. I want to start a podcast. I am doing a podcast. That's a goal. But what is the purpose? And again, how does that purpose join in or work or bodes with what you're trying to do in your life? You see, the reason I am doing this right now is because I want to teach. I want people to take away from what my experiences have been in my life. I lived a wonderful life. I've lived a great life. Right now at the age of 75, I'm still very energetic. Now, I don't need anything to live more than what I have, but I have a lot to give. I have a lot of experience that I can give. And this is why I decided that I'm going to do this podcast. I'm going to start talking to people. And if you can get something good, great for you. You see, I was very, very lucky. I was very lucky to have a father who basically told me one thing. He said, you can do anything you want to do. Now that's very seldom. And unfortunately, because of that, a lot of us just hold back or go back because we're always told not to do something other than to say, go ahead and try it, go ahead, break it. And then you will see what that'll bring you. So a lot many times we hold ourselves back from the fear, and the same fear that was put to us through our other generation. And that is the most difficult part. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about as to how fear holds us back. You know, I'll just give you a quick example. My wife and I are avid runners and walkers, and we walk on a daily basis. For us to do 6-7 kilometers first thing in the morning, it's a must. So we've been living in this neighborhood for now 20 years. And every morning, regardless rain, shine, whatever it is, sunshine, rain, we get up and we say, okay, this is what's happening. The question is not, are we going to go for a run? But the question is, what are we going to wear? So there's never been a question, oh my Lord, this is raining right now, we're not going to go. We always did it, and we went for a walk. Now, what happens is this. After all these years of walking the same distance, the same area, people get to know you. So what happens is people say to you, you meet them, say hello, they say, hey, hold on a second, I just saw you today, you were like 3 kilometers away from your house. You guys really go for long walks? And we say, yes, this is something we do on a daily basis. But then what happens is this. People look at you and they say, oh geez, you guys are so good. I couldn't even walk a block. You see, right then and there, they just limited themselves. They just put those boundaries and say, I cannot walk a block. Now you know, and they know it, that this is a lie. They know that they can walk more than a block. But us, as our own mental, in our mind, we create so many hardships for ourselves that then we start believing it. You see, what happens is this: mind always accepts everything that we tell it in good faith. So if you tell yourself in good faith that I cannot walk 1 kilometer or 1 block for that matter, then yes, your mind will say absolutely. So that is the fear. That's the fear that keeps on coming. That's the fear that's being put on us because, oh no, don't do this because you're going to get hurt. And that fear stops us from making the best what we have within us. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to talk about. I want to say we do have the capability. We do have the capacity to do what we want to do in our life. And that's what I mean by making your own destiny. That's what I mean by find out what your passion is. Find out what is your why? What is your greater why? What is that you want to do in your life? What makes you wake up in the morning? And that becomes the question. So here, I'm going to put 5 questions and their answers in a way to say, how does this work? And I'll read these. Okay? Why do I want to start a business? Well, the answer is to be financially free. Second question, why do I want to be financially free? To spend more time with my family. Why do I want to spend more time with my family and friends? To create lasting memories and support them. Why is supporting my family important to me? Because I believe in nurturing love and connection. Why do I believe in nurturing love and connection? Because I want to leave a legacy of love and unity. So you see, the purpose is to create that legacy. The purpose is to be in your satisfied mind that you are doing what your purpose was. So how do we find our purpose? That becomes the question. And there's a lot many techniques, there's a lot many questions. But if you live in mindfulness and if you live within yourself, you can find out. And how does that happen? That really happens when you take the first step. Till you're going to take that first step. You know, deep down, there is something in your mind. Deep down, there's something in your heart that tells you, I think I can do this, or I wish I would be doing this. Now turn that particular wish into saying, hey, I can do it. You know, when you look at all the successful people, or you look at all the loving people who have left great legacies, they're all human beings, just like us. And that is one thing that my father used to tell me all the time. All the time he told me one thing. He'd say, nobody is different than the other person. Every person is exactly the same. And he would go forward. He would talk about, you know, they have 10 fingers, and they have 2 legs, and he'd just keep on going. But it's so true. We look at the other person, we admire what they're able to do, and we know that he's just a person, yet we hold ourselves back because we say, oh, this person can do it, I cannot do it. And yet there is a small voice. Deep down, there's a voice which tells us that something that I'm doing is not right. That I should be doing something else. Or that I was born for the greater good. That I can do much more than what I am doing. So we can talk about the exercises and we can talk about it. Just take that time. Take that time to put within yourself. Talk to yourself and then try that. And you know what holding you back? It's always the fear. The fear is the one which says, no, we cannot go any forward. Just like my neighbor who said, I cannot walk. We can't walk a block. But you did it. That is the whole point. So, you see, we need to empower ourselves. We need to give ourselves the permission to say what we need to do. And that's what will really bring into yourself as to what your purpose is. You know, we get so busy with goal settings. We get so busy running around. We get so busy with everything else that sometimes we forget that there's more to life than just running around. And that's where you need to sit down. That's where you need to just give yourself. And everybody says, oh my God, give me a break. I don't have time to do this. Yes, you have the time. Instead of scrolling, instead of doing something else, just ask yourself a question. Just make yourself crazy, okay? Just make yourself crazy. Go with something that's totally out of bounds. And ask yourself a question, what would I like to be? And what would be the purpose of doing that? And that will give you the answer. And you may get they say that have your dreams so high that even you live in the fear, that it scares you, that how you're going to do it. And that's what it is. Scare yourself. And that will take you to the next step. So my friends, there's no simple answer to anything. There's no simple, there's no formula. There's no calculations. It's a very simple thing in a way. and it's within you. It's in your own heart. It's in your own. It is something that knocks at you, that knocks at your door, but you keep on ignoring it because the fear is holding you back. So go ahead, ask yourself, what is the purpose? And see what that brings in your life. See what brings that, see the changes in yourself. And no, nothing is going to happen in one day. You hear a lot of stories about overnight. There's no such thing as an overnight success. There's no such thing as an overnight change. Everything takes time. So you take your time. So just imagine if you started today, and 3 years from now, you're going to be much farther than if you just put it away to tomorrow, and that tomorrow just keeps on going. So do yourself a favor. Speak to yourself. Find your why. And then act on it. And you will find that when you take that first step, it's just going to be wonderful. So I want to bring in conversations like that. If you have any questions, send me a question, but it's all within you. When we empower ourselves, great things happen. Just remember that. And you need to give yourself that permission. You need to give yourself that power, because only you can do it. Nobody else will. Yes, there are people who will help you afterwards. But right now, you need to do yourself. So let's keep the conversation going, and let's see what we can do together. Till then, I'm Aslam Khatri, wishing you all the best for your destiny.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. We certainly hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to rate the podcast and subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode.